everybody? Z here. Welcome to Dune Awakening. Today, I want to make a quick little video on how, just some tips and tricks for getting started. This is going to be like beginning to mid-game kind of stuff. These are just some things that are going to help you understand things a little bit better along the way that once I figured out was very helpful. So yeah, hopefully you're all having a wonderful day. I'm having a fantastic day. Yeah, we're driving the buggy. It's cool. I love it. And we'll probably make a video on this specifically, but let's go ahead and let's get on into it, shall we? So the very first thing that I want to talk about is when you start the game, you're going to be presented with an option, and it's going to tell you whether you want the, it's going to say, hey, do you want the research tree fully unlocked, or do you want it based on progression? Essentially, if you read through it, it's going to say one option's recommended, one option's for more advanced users. Now, either way you go here, it's whatever you want, and what it's going to do is it's going to lock some blueprints behind quests. So in order to say get the very beginning things, you are going to have to do something. It's going to want you to build, a basic extermination kit first, or it's going to want you to build this, and then everything else is going to be locked until you do those things, and then as you go to unlock and allow you to do the other things. That's very handy for like the new players, so that way you kind of know like the flow and what things to prioritize and what to do there. Now once you get through the basic area, which is going to be this zone here, once you get through this first area, it basically unlocks everything else, and then you can kind of do whatever you want from there. I believe I only did it to that point during the demo, so after that I selected the free and clear unlock everything from the beginning option, because that's just the way I want to do it. So if you want to do it that way, absolutely. If you don't want to do it that way and you want to risk it yourself and you want to do it yourself, you absolutely can just do the unlocked option. Now, let's talk about how research in this game works and how unlocking items works and how progression works. Because sometimes it's kind of tricky. It's not super upfront. So when you start off in the game, you're going to see this research menu here. It's going to have these exact same options. This first tab that we're clicked on right now with these 4 boxes, this is like it's like a quick, like, oh, here's like the, probably the few things the game's recommending. This is not everything in the game. So don't forget that, because sometimes you get stuck on the screen and you're like, wow, there's not a whole lot here for me to unlock. That's because it further breaks down. So we have water discipline in here. These are going to be your water-based items. We have your combat in here. These are going to be your combat-based items. We have your salvage in here. This is going to be your base building, constructing, things like that. Exploration. This is going to be your, like, some of your tools and whatnots. Vehicles are going to be in this tab, and then like special stuff, which we'll get into these blueprints as well. These are very specific. Those are going to be in there. Now, how this works, I'm going to go with combat first, because I feel like combat is probably the one you're going to be worried about the most. You can see we have salvage, copper, iron, steel, aluminum, duraluminum, and platinum. I don't know how to pronounce that. Think of these as your tiers of gear. So when you first start the game, you're going to be going with your salvage items. These are going to be your very basic, super basic crafting stuff. This is what you're going to craft in your inventory, most likely. And this is going to be what you start the game with. So the tier above that is going to be your copper stuff. So this is essentially tier 0. Let's say this copper is tier 1. Tier 1 stuff is going to be copper based. So to craft these items, you're going to need copper as the main resource. Now, the main resource is the resource you're going to go out and have to harvest. There's some other resources obviously associated with these as well, but that is going to be your tier 1. Tier 2 is going to be iron, tier 3 is going to be steel, tier 4, so on and so forth. Now, how this works is kind of taking that tier system. You'll notice that we have, okay, so a scavenger rags. Okay, so here's your chest piece or whatever. When you get to the next tier, you're not necessarily going to have the exact same naming convention, but you're going to have some options. So you're going to have heavy armor or scout armor. Heavy armor is going to have a little bit more armor stats on it. Scout armor is going to have some other stats on it. So you can choose, okay, I want this, or I want this. And then you can also choose your weapons and stuff like that. So an example of the weapon upgrades as well. So if we go back to copper, we go back to tier 1, you can see we have a Karpov 38. Well, there's also a Karpov 38 here, but this is a standard Karpov 38. So this is that next tier. Now, if we go to steel, there is a artisan Karpov 38. You can kind of see the trend here, right? So you're going to be building the same weapons, or for the most part, if you find something you like, you can typically upgrade to the next tier along the way, and you can pick what you want. It's just going to be a better tier. Now, that is not the case with everything. Some things will fall off, and some things will be added. So as you can see, we now have a sword option in here. There was no copper sword. There's an iron sword. There's a steel sword. Also, there are some additional weapon types as well. So we have like a dirk, which I don't believe is in here as well. So as you level up and as you progress, you are going to get access to other weapons and other things like that. But you're going to think of this as a tier. So tier 0, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. That's what you're going to do. So a little bit of a spoiler, not really super spoilers, but just as a spoiler, if you're in this area here, this is going to be the area that you're going to be doing the salvage and the copper, because there's copper and there's salvage in here. Now, in order to get to iron, you're going to have to move up. Somebody decided that they wanted to attack me right now. So we'll just go ahead and take them out. Well, never mind. Okay, there we go. I'm just over here chilling in my buggy, and the NPCs want to come over here and do their thing. All right, so like I was saying, you are going to start off in this lower area here. That's going to be your copper and your rags or whatever. Now, when you move into this area, this is where you're going to start getting iron. That's going to be iron in this area. And then up here is where you're going to start getting carbon to get into steel and stuff like that. I will get more into that later. Actually, I'm not going to get into that into this video specifically. I just want to keep it to the absolute basics because, like I said, basics helping you figure out the stuff along the way. So while you're doing this, how I would focus things is take where you're currently at and just start working towards the next year. Once you get copper armor or copper weapons, get the other thing. Get a full copper set going first, and then work to iron, get a full iron set going, and then go to steel, get a full steel set, so on and so forth. That's gonna be how you want to progress, because as you get into the new areas, enemies are gonna get harder, they're gonna hit harder, you're gonna want that new armor to protect yourself, and you're gonna want those new weapons to deal with those enemies. Otherwise, you're gonna be struggling to do those. And you are going to want to hit every tier here. This really isn't a thing where you can go from like skip one to get to the next one, skip one to get to the next one kind of thing. You are, from my experience and my personal opinion, is you are going to want to get every tier as you go along. It is worth it. The time investment, the time it takes, the amount of time you're going to be in the area fighting those things, you're going to want that tier items. Now, that's not all. Don't leave yet. Because another thing the game doesn't tell you is how unlocking stuff works. So as you can see, this stuff right here is currently locked for me. But so are these. But these actually show a lock icon. What is going on there? What's the difference? And how do I get to the next step? So these items that are grayed out, these mean I don't have them researched, but I can research them. They take 10 research points. As you can see, we have intel up here. These take 10 research points in order to unlock. If I want it, I can go ahead and research it right now and unlock it. However, these are actually locked. The reason that these are locked is because it says required intel spent is 252 out of 300, which means I have to spend 300 intel anywhere in the prior tier of items until I can unlock these. So once I spend 300 intel, I will then be able to unlock the aluminum tier stuff. So as you can see, aluminum tier here, aluminum tier here. All this aluminum tier will be unlocked, and I can then purchase it for the amount of intel that it requires. So for me, I have to go out and I have to get another 48 intel. I have to spend another 48 intel. I only have 11 right now. Now, there's a couple ways to get intel. Right off the rip, it's really easy. It's not too bad. Leveling, doing your journeys, doing the little purple tasks or whatever, doing these things, they give you pretty good XP. And I believe I think every level of XP at I don't know exactly when, but I think we're getting 10 intel per XP now. I think before I was getting 5. So yeah, knocking these out and getting your levels is a good way to get intel. But the main way you're going to be getting intel, and you're going to want to do this just as long as like along the way, is these little stations, these little houses that have the little 3 little houses on them that says intel. So this says 1 of 1. I've already collected 1 of 1. These do not respawn. They do not reset. You're not going to be able to get any more. Once you get the 1 intel, it's done. It's gone. But as you can see, there are 1 there, there's 1 there, there's 1 there, there. And now each one of these, that's 5. So each one you collect, that's actually 5. So like there's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So like this area has 40 intel just chilling here. You run to the area, clear the camp out, you find the intel, and you're good. So what I need to do, because like I said, I still need 48, I got to go through and I got to clear out all these intel markers that say 0 of 1. So I need to go here, I need to go here, 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 everywhere. I got a lot of things to do here. Now I can also level up while doing that, which will also give me intel. So that's what I'm going to be doing to get it myself. Now I'm going to show you what intel looks like here in just a second. So that way when you go to the camps, you can kind of like, oh, this is the intel I need. This is the stuff I need. But since we're still in the research menu and we're heavily talking about research here, I want to talk about also another thing that kind of comes out of nowhere is the requirements to craft something. So when you are in iron, copper, and salvage, you can basically craft everything you are going to need at this crafting station here, this fabricator. You can click on here, it's going to all be in here. Once you get to steel, you are going to need a new item here. So if we hover over this, you can see that it says works with weapons fabricator. If we click on the armor set here and I click over here, we can see works with garment fabricator. So once you get to steel, you are going to need a garment fabricator, which is expensive, weapons fabricator, which is expensive, a vehicle fabricator eventually. These are all specialty fabricators that you're going to need in order to build whatever other items you have. There's also another fabricator. It's called the survival. Is this the survival one? Yeah, survival fabricator. That's basically an upgraded one of these as well that has certain items. So you are going to need different fabricators in order to make those later items. All right, now let's talk about probably one of the most important things. I probably should have had this a little bit earlier in the video, but I didn't. Let's talk about water, because water, you're going to be struggling. It's a problem. You know what? We got to survive. We got to do what we can do, right? So initially the game is going to have you making these extractors, these sanguination kits or whatever, and you're going to be filtering blood for water. Now, once you hit iron, you're going to be able to go into research. You're going to be able to go into the water area here, and you're going to be able to get what's called a dew reaper. Now, you might also pick these up from a random person or whatever, but these things, to me, are hands down the best way to go. I also use the blood extractor as well, but when it comes to like the bulk of my water right now, I'm usually out with a dew reaper, collecting it, because it's just so fast. The blood extractor, like I said, it works really good. You put it in the machine, you filter it down, it's great. But like this, I like this. I prefer this over this right now. Later on, my opinion might change on that, but the dew reaper, it is basically a magical scythe, right? It looks like a magical hook. And what you can do is you can go up to these plants right here. These are the little dew plants. When you go up to them, it shows that little hook on there. So you can drink these until your first bar, but then you can actually harvest them. Now, you want to be careful about when you harvest them. And you also want to make sure that you have a place to store what you're harvesting. So you're going to need the leader johns in order for the water to go somewhere. So if we press T, you can see up in the top right, it has like a day and a night cycle. The lighter blue right before morning time, that's when you're going to want to harvest these, because if I harvest right now, it's going to say pour dew harvest time, and that's going to give me 70 mils of water per however many plants. I think you get 2 to 3 times as much water by waiting until it's a optimal harvest time. So usually what we've been doing is we wait till an optimal harvest time. We find ourselves a nice dew harvesting spot, and we go and just fill up a bunch of these leader johns. We go over there, fill them up. We come in here and we drop them all off into water storage tanks, whatever storage tanks you have, small ones, large ones. If you don't even have a storage tank, don't worry about it. But we usually drop them off in here. Now, like I said, you can also do, blood purification, which this is currently doesn't have any. We haven't been playing with recently, so we have nothing to purify right now. But you can do your blood stuff in here as well, and then that hooks all into your circuit. So, yeah, it's fantastic. It's really good if you're going out, killing enemies. You might as well harvest it. You might as well get the extra water, because water is absolutely huge. You need it for steel production. You need it for aluminum production. You need it for iron production. You need it for a lot of stuff. So water's very, very important. So like I said, dew harvester is really good. We'll wait until it's time, and then we'll go harvest some dew, and I'll kind of show you how it works. So I'm here at my little spot. We got, as you can see, there's a lot of water to be collected here. I'm gonna go ahead and wait till it is the optimal harvest time. Now, when it is the optimal harvest time, the little day-night cycle thing is gonna pop up by itself. So I'm gonna hang out here, wait for it to pop up, and once it pops up, we're gonna go through and harvest all this. We're gonna get a ton of water. We're gonna get like 8,000 milliliters, which is, I guess, really not a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. But we're gonna get like 8,000. We'll take that back, drop that off, and then we'll move on. And I want to show you what the intel looks like at the intel station, so that way you know what you're looking for there. And then I also want to kind of talk about a couple hazards on the map, so you know what to look for. And also, the sand bike is super important. So as soon as you can build a sand bike, build a sand bike, you're going to be using it for absolutely everything. Also, another little bonus tip here is when you you have this tool that is called the vehicle backup tool. You can essentially just look at your vehicle and just take it, and that's it. And you're good. And then it basically, you just store it. So now I can run around, do whatever. As long as there's nothing in the inventory, as long as if you have an inventory upgrade, as long as there's nothing in there, you're good. And then you just pop it back down wherever you want. So it's a fantastic tool. Just utilize the snot out of it. I use it all the time. Okay, so my thing just popped up. It now says, hey, it's time. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to collect some water. So as you can see, we're getting tons of water. Well, it feels like tons of water. Is it tons of water? I don't know. But you can see how it says optimal harvest time. And it's just giving us so much more. Like I said, I think it's like 2 or 3 times as much as you get normally, or 3 to 4 times as much, maybe even. I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and just deposit all of my water into our thing here, and we're good. So now I'm going to go ahead and collect some more because I have a couple more around my base that I want to grab as well. Okay, so I want to show you what the intel you're looking for is, what it's going to look like. They're going to be in like the bigger settlements, and you're going to have to fight enemies. You're going to have to fight, a whole bunch of enemies and stuff. Sounds like people are already fighting. Yeah, so there's already somebody here fighting them. So which is actually great. You can go in with a whole bunch of people and fight them, and you don't even have to worry about anything, because these areas are not PvP. I will tell you what areas are PvP in here in just a second. What the heck? What are you guys doing down here? Okay, so this is a little settlement that we're at, and we're gonna go ahead and clear it of enemies. Two of them already fell off down there, which is kind of funny. Do we have anybody else? Where's everybody at? Seems like there's like no one here. Oh, there's somebody. You gonna shoot me? I have a shield on. Okay. So this right here, this is gonna be your intel. It's gonna be this big, like, floating green thing. You're gonna interact with it, and that's gonna give you 5 intel. And then boom, now it's marked on the map that it's done. So that's how you get your intel. Now there's another blueprint type that I want to just talk about real quick, along with some PvP areas to keep an eye out for. So for PvP areas, because I know a lot of people are going to be worried about it. If you're a PvE player like myself, you don't really want to do PvP stuff. These ships right here, the wrecks, are going to be PvPs, with the exception of the first one. So this one down here, the wreck of Alcalon or whatever, this is not a PvP area. So, but from then on, every one of these, when you enter the area, it's going to change it's going to pull up a red thing above your bar, and it's going to say, entering this PvP. It's going to be bright red. You're going to notice it. It's going to say changing zone and all that stuff. So those are PvP areas, these ones. So there's one over there. There's like one over here. There's another one like right over here somewhere. Yeah, the wreck of Acetone or whatever. So those are going to be PvP areas, along with some other PvP areas like down in the deep desert, which I haven't really got to yet, so I can't really speak to them because I don't know. But yeah, there's going to be some other PvP areas, but it'll say changing zone, and then it'll say like PvP in red letters. So just so you know. Also, above the health bar will also be red. So right now it's yellow, and that means it's a PvE environment. Most of the map is PvE, like I said. It's just when you change into that area, it's going to turn to red. Now, as far as other hazards, you got drum sand. Basically, crossing drum sand while you're on it, it's going to make all kinds of vibrations. It's going to attract the sandworm. Sandworm's going to come get you. Just stay away from those. Don't go in there. The reds with the lines, this is quicksand. You touch this, you're gone. You touch it, you're gone. If you touch the quicksand, you're gone. It sucks you in. I've already lost a bike to it. I've died to it. This stuff is terrible. I'll show you what it looks like in person too, because I didn't know what this actually looked like in person. I didn't know how to identify it while I was there, because there's like little patches here every now and then. So yes, be on the lookout. Open your map, know where they're at. They don't, as far as I know, they don't move. They don't shift around. So once you're familiar with an area, you know what to look for. You shouldn't have to worry about it anymore. Okay, so this is quicksand right there in front of me. You can kind of see it moving around a little bit, and you can kind of see how it's a different texture, and you can see it's moving. All that right there is quicksand. Now, another easy way to see this is it's usually going to have like dust and sand coming off the top of it as well. But those are going to be your quicksand spots. So those are the things to stay away from. As you can see, it actually says I'm in a quicksand area. So we're going to just not even touch anywhere remotely near it. But that is what that looks like. Yeah, so there it is. And then the absolute final last thing is going to be these blueprints, these uniques. So in order to get uniques, you're going to go around and you're going to loot stuff, and you're going to find it's going to look like this in your inventory. And basically, you're just going to go in your inventory. You have to be back at your base. Oh, for example, this one. I have this unique schematic for these compact compactor. Now, how this works is when I go and I research this, it's going to say, upon using this item, you'll obtain 1 Imperial permit for compact compactor Mark III. Accept it. Now, if I go into my research, I can see, okay, I now have 1 compact compactor Mark III permit. So how that works is if I wanted to, say, go to a, I don't know if it's a weapon crafter or what it is. If I wanted to go into here and I want to craft one of these, you can see I have this Legion tattoo thing, but it has 0. And then I have the pseudo pulse sword, it has 1, and then I have this one that has 4. You can only craft 1 per time you find that blueprint. So I can craft 2 of these if I wanted to. I could craft 1 of these, I could craft 4 of these, because I found this blueprint 4 times. I found this one 1 time, I found this one 2 times. You could only craft it once for every time you find it. So we have the compact compactor, the Mark III, the one I just unlocked. I can craft 1 of those, and that's it. And as far as I know, you cannot repair them either. So once you use it, it's done, it's gone until you get another blueprint. So you might be able to actually repair it with a blueprint. I'm not sure. I'm just going to say for just a blanket statement of you can't repair them. So once you use them, be careful. Like I said, it's a one-time use thing. That's how those work. But that's going to end it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I hope this was a longer video than I was expecting. There's just so much information. There's so much to do in this game. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. Leave a comment. Let me know. Are you having fun? Are you playing? Are you waiting? Are you getting it on the 10th? Did you already get early access? Where are you at? And also, leave some tips that I left out. Because, I mean, if this does good enough, we get enough traction on it, maybe we'll go ahead and make another tips video. Because there's, like, so much that... oh, there's a sandstorm coming. Let's just go ahead and get back in a second. Let me in. What the heck? Why won't let me in? Let me in! But yeah, leave a comment. Let me know some tips that you found that were super helpful. And yeah, have fun. Enjoy Dune, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody!